Hello everyone, the Vibe Kage has returned again for another part, and this one I did post on YouTube. I bet y'all are wondering, Deku being trained by Deadpool, so why is 02 there? Because it's a 02 Deku X ship! Duh! So, yeah. In the background, I have Holocene, Lauren Babic, and Violet Orlandi, and oh my god, guys, just like three of the most phenomenal vocalists I've ever heard. They're doing the cover Aerials by, System of a Down, so that's what's playing in the background. Ooh, just like hearing their voice is just like chills down my back, bro. I'm not even gonna front with y'all. But it is What If time. Deku. You see, here in this timeline, Deku kind of goes through a similar program that Deadpool went through to get through, his powers. Like, kind of like a Weapon X program. Where, if you've seen the Deadpool movie, then that's all you need for reference. Just how Deadpool got his powers. If you don't know Deadpool, then I don't know what to tell y'all. Like, Ryan Reynolds was in a movie. Just watch his first movie. Like, how he was going to obtain his powers. That's kind of how Deku was put in. But, at the age of 4, when he was deemed quirkless and his parents abandoned him. And no, Izuku's not Izuku Midoriya. He looks like Izuku Midoriya. And he is Izuku, but Midoriya was not their last name. In fact, the last name was, Todoroki. And, his father was more, like, livid that Deku was deemed quirkless. Well, his twin brother had a quirk. Not just any quirk. A combination of, their mother and father's. A half and half quirk. Something that, the father thought, this will surely defeat All Might. But, I digress. Endeavor just sells Deku to, like, some orphanage, and the orphanage is just like, well, it's not a real orphanage. It's just, like, a place where they would take kids, but no one really knew. Of course, they find out, Izuku is the son of the number 2 hero, so they're gonna put him through, extra shit. And, they give him, like, a different formula than Weapon X. This is, Chemical Z. Z? Why Z? Because Z will be the end of you. That and 02. Just for the Z aspect. Now I'm just fucking with you. But no, this one is, Chem Z. Due to it's kind of their most strongest and most potent form out of the whole alphabet. After this, they're going to have to use Greek letters, so I don't fucking know. Chemical Omega, Chemical Beta, Chemical Zeta, shit like that. That's their next point. But, right now, Chem Z was injected into Izuku, and, at first there was no signs, despite him, they do the same torture that they did to Wade. Because he is Endeavor's son, by the way. That's the only reason why they're being extra hard on Deku. Opposed to, the other kids. And, in case you're wondering, well, how does, Deadpool come into the places? Deadpool in My Hero Academia world? Is the worlds combining? Well, no. Deadpool kind of just likes exploring places, and he somehow found out a place to go, traveling the multiverse, because, he's annoyed Doctor Strange enough to snag one of their rings and hook it up to his teleporting belt to where, his belt is pretty much a portal gun. And, he finds the My Hero Academia world, a lot of more superheroes, so he's just thinking it'd be interesting. And, after a while, he's heard about, like, the kids being taken, and he makes it his mission to, go wipe out everyone. And, depending on how the kids react to him, is whether he'd have to, end them too, because if they try and kill him, then self-defense, I guess? But no, yeah. Pretty much Deadpool just eviscerates, just chops everyone, mincemeats them, grinds up their bones, every single fucking thing that you can think of. Deadpool just murked all of them people. And you're wondering, what about the other kids? Well, they've died, but not because of Deadpool. Their bodies being not able to handle, the damage that they were being put through the training, quote unquote training, and, the chem. Well, for them, it's still Chemical X, just so I can say it's Chemical X because Powerpuff Girls, which also is going to be hinting at what, Zero Two is in this one. Which, yes, off of the premise that she is a copy, a clone off of, the Madman's original daughter, who was named Blossom. Which, this is also her alias, is just Blossom, Blossom, her last name, nothing. But no, shit like that is how it goes. And Deku, he was able to, see Wade, after he's killed everyone. Deku doesn't, fear him. He's just walking casually to Wade, and Wade's just like, fuck, do I have to kill this guy? I was kind of hoping just to get a chimichanga. And, Deku, still relatively young, he's almost 5, just almost. He just looks at, Deadpool despite all of his costumes. He vaguely remembers heroes, so he just asks Deadpool, is Deadpool, his hero? Which kind of, Deadpool wasn't really ready for this, so instead he's just saying he's not a hero, he's, a murderer, an assassin. Hoping that these words would deteriorate Izuku, but then, Izuku just looks at all the bodies of all the bad people who's hurt him, and, just as innocently as a child could say it, can you train me how to kill? Deadpool's kind of like, I don't know, maybe. Deadpool starts asking, what about your parents? Deku just shakes his head and saying, there isn't any. That's kind of why he was here. Deku gives him, the whole situation, you came here and you killed all these people, but did you not know that, pretty much every child here was an abandoned child? This kind of annoyed Deadpool a little bit, because he's just like, well, that's fucked up. And, to him, he's just like, well, there's nothing else I can do. I'm gonna leave. Deadpool's just like, but how am I gonna live? Damn. This is when a crack not a crash, but breaking glass is heard. Everyone, Deadpool just quickly is rushing and turn the corner, and he sees 5-year-old Zero Two crawling, trying to stand, and Deadpool's just like, fuck, there are 2 of them. But he ends up, taking both of them, and yeah. Now, Zero Two and Izuku would never have met before. They're kind of strangers to one another, but Zero Two is drawn to Izuku. Now, in case you're wondering why or how, well, due to the fact that our genuine Mad Mac, who cloned his daughter and was experimenting on Izuku, thought, the extraction of some Endeavor cells injecting into her would probably be good. So, yeah, he made it where she's attracted to someone who's a Todoroki more than anything. But once, she falls in love, it'd be done deal. There's no other way out. There's no going into a different person. It's just that one person for the rest of the heat death of the universe. And, it's Deku. Well, she didn't really know why, but she just knew she was drawn to Deku all the time. Deku, girl, fuck it, why not? He pretty much has been with Zero Two since they were 5 years old, so their quote-unquote relationship is similar to, a married couple already. And Wade, he's trained both of them. He trained both of them in hand-to-hand combat, swordsmanship, guns, weapons, everything. To Wade's surprise, the 2 people, their abilities are really, really something. Now, yes, Zero Two still has her red horns, and her quirk is, the she-devil transformation, which pretty much as it sounds, think of she-devil, anything a female succubus could do, that's Zero Two's quirk. And the only person it does not work on, suggestive or lustful things, is Izuku, which the only reason why he's always falling for it, quote unquote, is, you know, he genuinely does love her. Now, Deku, on the other hand, during his, experimentation, and, they were thinking some sort of fire quirk would have manifested, but, nah. Rather, Kim Z had the ability to, think of it like a Zenkai boost, but of booster shots. Or, how can I put it? Izuku's quirk in this is something based off of the Bleach manga. One of the main villains is, like, in his group of squadrons, like, loyal soldiers. He had a guy whose, like, his ability was, death dosage, which means anything that he's already consumed, he can manipulate the point of lethal, like, where it's lethal into a human body. As long as they're, within the area of said effect. Now, how could this work? And you may ask, well, Deku at a young age kind of went through a Killua treatment where, they put him through torture so they could get his quirk. Now, his quirk, on the other hand, took it like, this small pain is a booster shot that, once it's within him, he will be immune to. And I mean immune. They tortured him with electricity. No lightning will ever just go through. Like, it hits him as if he wasn't, like, conductible. The current will pass through him. He could feel the electricity, but it doesn't register as pain. Fire does not burn. His skin, his hair, his nails, nothing. Nothing will burn off of him. His clothes, maybe, yeah. But that's it. Cold, he don't shiver. He don't sweat. Nothing. None of those things happen. They would beat him, so the force that was used behind each significant blow just increased his durability. They tried drowning him, exposing him to different toxins and poisons. Several different things. And, you know what? Not once did it ever kill Izuku. And Deku does have an abnormally, and I mean, like, how can I put it? What was another anime character whose regeneration was just, oh, come on. Oh, come on. Type shit. And I can only think of, like, people who would be immortal to kind of match it, like Soban or Zamasu from Dragon Ball Super or Seven Deadly Sins, shit like that. People who, or Hashirama cells. Yeah, think of it like that. No hand scissors are needed. It's just healed. And yes, 02 in her she-devil form can heal herself and regenerate, but that's not what we're here for. She will get a lot more screen time, yes, but she's not, like, our main thing. And song playing in the background is Blood Brothers by Zdead and Disclord and Reja Lee. And, just because I've not said anything to this person in, like, the longest time, but it's a friendship that I don't feel like I need to talk to people as often because of how they are. This particular person who showed me, Zdead, I want to say thank you so much. So, the friend Lynn Lee, and she makes her own content. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, and I'm gonna have to just ask this. No. You know what? Fuck it. If you guys want the link to her content, which, for the sake of, my safety, if you're not 18, don't fucking ask me for this goddamn link. Like, I shit you not. She does not make content for children either. If you have a credit card, then you're good. Her content, not on YT, but of OF. And if you don't know what the difference between YT and OF is, then you are not meant to know her content. But as someone who grew up with her and, has physically seen what she looks like, shit, I'm fucking tempted to buy it. But because it's my friend, I'm not. It just can't work that way. If it wasn't my friend, then damn fucking right, I would have fucking subscribed to her OnlyFans, because dear God, she is, my lord, oh my, just Mm. Whew. In case you're wondering, am I getting a bit too aggressive? Motherfucker. Mm. She, and this is why I can say this, she will always, and I mean always, be hotter than any and every anime girl to ever existed, because she's real. Her cheeks move naturally. No one has to draw it. She's just, and she worked for it. Like, she worked out a lot. And Jesus. Just Jesus. Anyway, rant's over. This song is Slow Down by Zed and Jenna Pawlowski? I don't know how to fucking say the last name. Anyway, we're going back to this because I got distracted. Anyway, as time progresses with, Deku and 02 and Wade, their strange living arrangement, Wade, just asks them, are they gonna, be together? She just hugs Izuku right away. Wraps herself around Izuku's arm, and she says, "He's my darling, so yes." Deku, he kind of blushes at this because, he knows, like, Blossom has been very, very touchy, grabby, handsy, but kind of only towards Izuku. Like, despite other, like, guys who would look at her and check her out, she's only been looking at Izuku. And, she does get a little tsundere / yandere when there's a girl fucking with Deku in not the best of ways. Like, she's okay if, they're nice and friendly, but if they show signs of, just using him or actually liking him, then that's when it's on. But to her, it's like the same thing. No one is good enough for her, darling. And yes, if I ever have to use a line with 02 and she's going to talk about Izuku, I have to say darling. If you've not seen Darling in the Franxx, then I guess if you've seen, like, a Gundam show, then you know. The ending, everyone hates. We all know this, but that's not here nor there. This is just a character who looks like 02, whose name is Blossom. But, she's still 02, a clone of the original, who's been dead for God knows how long. But, it's not here nor there. It's just, how our shit goes. And Deku, before I forget, he's... How can I put this? Because his power, his quirk, the death dosage, which they did get it registered. Deku's quirk is called lethal dose. And, Blossom is called, She-Devil. When it came to last names, Wade kind of just, like, bullshitted it. And, he gave Izuku the last name of Logan and Blossom the last name of Gray, which, if you don't know who he's referencing, it's pretty much the ship that he wanted from the X-Men, who Deadpool personally wanted, to end together. So, that's why. And, yeah. Of course, we'll go into, day of the sludge villain incident, and 02 and Izuku are just walking. They're next to each other, and they're maybe, like, less than a foot away from each other, like half a foot. And, they have these weird moments where, like, every now and then their fingertips just, like, would touch, and then, like, they quickly blush, and, they can't really do much. Of course, Blossom, she's the most, I guess you can say, she wants the most affection and touching to do all the time with Deku, but Deku's kind of, there are people watching. We should go somewhere private. But in reality, how Blossom in this is just like, so what are they fucking watching? Let these bitches know that, this, grabs his dick, belongs to me. With a batshit crazy smile. like how Lois grabbed Peter after she whooped her martial art teachers. Is like, this is mine. This is where my babies come from. Fucking hilarious. Anyway, Deku and her, they're really, really like they know they like each other, and it's just the whole physical aspect, the touch barrier. It's what's so tricky and complicated for them because it should just be natural, but I don't know. Like Deku, you know, the second, and I mean like the very second he's even like made contact with Ray, his whole body just feels warm, happy, a little bit of like teen male hormone lustfulness, as he's been living with Zero Ray and he's seen her develop, so he knows what's expanded and narrowed, and he's had his dreams about it, but he's just like, fuck, how do I actually just do it? Because in Deku's mind it's just like the whole like, I'm gonna call it the virgin mentality, where like, okay, I know what I do, I know what I should do, I know what to do, I've seen enough videos, I've thought about this a lot on how I want to do, I've been practicing my stamina, and asked several guy friends about this, but why can't I close? That virgin mentality, just like there's some sort of invisible force and wall that they put up in their mind. And Deku, for him, I'm gonna just let y'all know what it is. It's just that, he loves, he does love Ray, like Zero Two, not Ray. I was thinking of a different one. He does love Zero Two, and it's just he's not sure, like if the reason why he loves her is because she's just been there all along, and he's never actually ventured out, and that's why he's like the attraction is just there, or does he, is this the genuine like, I never needed to date anyone else because the first person I dated was the one. Deku, not trying to be a sappy, romantic about it, but he kind of wants it to be, the second one where like he doesn't have to date anyone else besides Zero Two, but that's his like main fear. It's just like, if they date, they start kissing and all that stuff, and all the good stuff ends, and they don't end on good terms, then the friendship is lost, and all the years and effort Deku has put into building this relationship, not romantic, somewhat platonic, friendly, family, familiar, I guess you could say, but he spent a long time building this relationship with Zero Two, and if the feelings are not reciprocated and matched, then he feels like not only did he lose his crush, but his best friend in the whole world is now like avoiding him because it'd just be too awkward. So this is when Deku, he's just like looking at her, and she knows that Deku's looking at her, but she just walks forward ahead of Deku, and she's just smiling, and she teases Deku, and she's saying, how about we race home, and last one there has to make dinner, which the moment she then turns around before Deku could say wait, red form, she devil form, and just blitz off in pure speed. Deku, knowing that he is physically trained, but his quirk isn't meant for this, and there is a hidden ability within Deku's quirk that is not death dosage, but still something from another of Yukabas royal cart guards, which also kind of goes in tangent with lethal dosage, but yeah. Anyway, Deku, he's just like, damn it, as Zero Ray's already like a whole 100 yards in front of him, and she's not slowing down for anything. And reality, I mean, why she's running this fast is because her hand touched Deku's, and I love Anime King too. And Anime King, his channels are just fucking amazing. Watch his shit. I'm not lying to you. Um, just for the sake of fuck it, why not? Plugging other YouTube channels, which I will leave comments and links in the description. Not link. No. Links in like the description, I guess, of some YouTubers I've recently saw and I've been liking their shit, and they're entertaining. I really wish I could draw like other YouTube animators like Jaden or True. Maybe if you've seen, I will butcher this and I feel so bad because yeah, Emirichu YouTube. She like her YouTube. I also liked her videos, were fun, and I will admit that she just gives like this overall like adorable vibe. But when I mean adorable, I don't mean like I seek romantic feelings. I just mean like, oh, she's just a bubbly person who I think is just cool without actually me having to meet her. I like her natural vibes from her videos that she just gives off. How I do with other videos in YouTubers that, just by sometimes the first couple seconds, I would just know, oh yeah, I'm gonna like their shit from the rest of my life. Like Masako X. That's all. That's another YouTuber I can just say. Just shit like that. Just like their vibe, I like, me, go, yes. Now, let's go back to this because I feel like I'm losing my mind too much. And, yeah. Deku, he's just sighing as he really, really wants to, be with Rei. Not Rei, fuck. I'm thinking of Rei Ayanami. And in my defense, it's because Cruel Angel's Thesis from Neon Genesis Evangelion is playing in the background. Anyway, Deku, he really does want to be with, Zero Two. But, like I said, he is afraid of the whole, losing the friendship and the best friend of his, life. So, he's not really paying attention, when this sludge villain just starts wrapping his tendrils around Izuku. And Deku, he's just like, get off of me! Forcing... And Deku's not weak at all. This is the other benefit of his quirk that mutated with lethal dose, is that damage, and you can think of it just pretty much like a Zenkai boost, honestly, but it's known as Miracle. After getting beaten so bad, it would take a miracle for me to turn the tables. Off of that premise. And how this works for Deku is that, it was a miracle that he survived all the torture. Well, not only did his, I said his body kind of took it as a booster shot, but not only did he become immune to various forms of torture, his actual physical body grew in proportion to all pain that he receives. So how can I put it in a relatively easy way to explain it? Like I said, kind of like Zenkai's, but not Zenkai, because they said like the closer you are to death, the stronger the boost. And this one is just like damage that he could take just makes him stronger. Like he can eat all your blows, take it all, and then just the kinetic energy all forced into his body would be a proportional growth to his strength. So think of it, how Saiyans would get the Zenkai and they're supposed to be even stronger than the ass whooping. This is where Deku's strength is proportional growth to pain he feels. That's all I mean with Miracle. So yeah, Deku isn't weak by any means. So when he goes and jerks his foot, he actually ends up kicking the sludge villain towards the wall. The sludge villain splatters and it lands on Deku's face. Deku just thinking this is fucking disgusting, and he's pissed. He went from thinking of the girl he likes and how things could be with them, like he wants to marry her. He's not gonna lie about it. He does want, Zero Two. And this guy just tries to do some bullshit like this. Hey, I'm gonna steal your body so you can't do shit. Nah, I need this body so part of this body can be inside of her body. Shit like that. Deku, he hates what he's about to do, but he realizes it. He just needs a little bit. So he lightly dabs his tongue towards the sludge on his cheek, touches it with his tongue. Disgusted, of course, but, the sludge villain then, as he's reforming, he starts saying, that's not gonna... As, the sludge villain then starts falling down, breathing, wheezing, and coughing. He's in agonizing pain. And he's confused on what's happening to him. Till Deku's saying, your quirk might be sludge, but my quirk is called lethal dose. Anything I consume, no matter the proportion, I can choose how much of it becomes lethal inside a human body. And, Deku's saying, your sludge tastes fucking disgusting. And, Deku made it where if you had just the equivalent of, like, a raindrop of sludge in your system, that is enough to cause your organs to go into organ failure. But the sludge villain being, made out of sludge, this pain is excruciating because his whole body, in a sense, is rejecting all of itself, causing it to, kind of destroy itself as, the sludge villain just falls dead, and Deku he's just walking, kind of annoyed still, when, All Might shows up and says, I am here. He sees the sludge villain, and, when he goes to look for Izuku, or anyone around him, he doesn't see anyone. Now, in case you're wondering, did Deku just teleport? Nah, man just jumped on the bridge. As soon as he heard the thing popped up, he's just like, fuck, I killed something with my quirk. Gotta jump. Deuces. All Might, he's just like, he realizes that, Sludge Villain died, and he doesn't know if, like, the Sludge Villain was already dying, or, shit like that. But he doesn't really care. He calls a cleanup crew and all that good noise. All Might's just like, well, I guess my work is done. If y'all are curious on the song playing in the background, Hated by the World by For Today, a Christian metal band, I guess you could say. I kind of like more of their metal thing than when they go gospel-y, but nah. Some songs, they're just too much of a fucking banger. Anyway, Deku kind of adding another body to his kill count. And in case you're wondering, if, two people are trained with Deadpool and they never kill, are they really trained by Deadpool? Just so we're on that page. So Deku, he's just like, damn it. He's just thinking of, Ray. Not Ray, fuck. Zero Two. Damn it. I love Neon Evangelion more than I love Darling in the Franxx, but Zero Two more bad than Ray. But I like Ray's character more. Mostly because she never said darling so much, and it got kind of annoying. Because, God, a lot of, correct me if I'm wrong, but have you heard a human female anime character reference another human male as darling? Because I haven't. I've only seen it where it's like a humanoid-esque female. Sometimes it's like, oh, she's actually like a succubus, or she's a devil, or she's a clone, or some shit like that. But it's never been a full-blooded human who's calling her person, darling. It's always either honey, sweetie, or just their actual name. I just thought that was something that kind of bothered me. Sorry for that small TED Talk. Anyway, Deku, he decides, just to start strolling around rather than walk straight home. And this is where things get more complicated for us. Because, this is when, someone bumps into Deku, and this person, of course, she's apologizing because she didn't see Izuku, but she did feel bad. And then, you know, she gets a closer look at him. Her jaw drops as, you know, tears start like welling in her eyes. Izuku's kind of confused because he's not really sure who this woman is. It's just some woman with glasses, white hair, and some red in her. Like white and red hair. Like mostly white hair, but some like sparkles of red. Deku's confused because he's just like, I'm glad, well, none of us are hurt, so we're okay. Why are you crying? And, you know, she's just like, it can't be. It's been almost 10 years. You know, Deku hearing this, he's just like, 10 years? You know, thinking, like, what happened 10 years ago? And he's just like, the bullshit happened 10 years ago. So his, you know, fist gets clenched there, so like he's about to like tighten his fist up and, you know, leave before, you know, the woman just jumps and hugs him and she's crying and she's saying, Izuku, I've missed you. You know, Deku thrown by this. And I do mean he is thrown by this. You know, this results in, you know, the woman's explaining that, you know, she's Izuku's older sister, Fuyumi Todoroki. Deku looks at her confused as, you know, he says, Todoroki? More confused, like, and yes, Deku does not have memory of the actual family. So there's no memory of Endeavor, of, you know, Rei, or Toya, or Dabi, not Dabi, no. Toya is Dabi. Natsu, Fuyumi, Shoto. There's no memory of them inside of Deku's memories right now because of Kim Z being able to, you know, be the main focus of Deku, and all he'd have to do is focus on surviving. So, remembering the past was never a thing. Is it lost forever? No, but this makes it kind of difficult for Deku because, you know, Fuyumi is grabbing him and not letting him go, stating that, you know, he will be coming home with her. He's not old enough to be just by himself, and, you know, she's his older sister, and she can do this if she wants to. Deku's confused because he's just like, but I don't remember having a sister. You know, we'll time skip about an hour, and Deku, no, not an hour, about 20 minutes. No, that way Fuyumi could get to her house of the Todoroki household, and, you know, she says she's home. No one answers. So she's just like walking around, seeing if like anyone's actually home. And, you know, Deku's walking with her the entire time. He's just looking at the household because he still doesn't remember anything, like, whatsoever from this. You know, Fuyumi is like showing him all these photos and pictures of, you know, who's who and like what's their family, and the entire time as Izuku's looking around, just a blank expression. Like, he's seeing the photos, but to him it's just roughly the same as just looking at an empty wall. There's no emotions. There's nothing towards him there. He just looks at her and he's just being frank. I don't know any of you. I have no idea who the Todorokis were, and my name might be Izuku. And, you know, he points to the kid and he's saying, and I do look like him, but this is the line that probably causes the biggest rift. Izuku's just like, with as bluntly as he can, he's just saying, I'm not your family. At all. We're not family. I'm not a Todoroki. I'm, you know, Izuku Logan. Logan? Who? What? You know, Deku's just like, my, you know, guardian who adopted, like, took care of him. He doesn't say adopted, my bad. He says the guardian who, you know, took him in, like, took him in and pretty much raised him, saved him from a very, he just clenches his fist and then lets it go, and he's saying dark experience in that orphanage. And Fuyumi, the entire time, she just thought Deku had died. Not that he was put in an orphanage. She did not know this. You know who did? Toya. And, Shoto. Natsu and Fuyumi were led to believe that Izuku died. And, yeah, it's kind of fucked up, I know, but it just had to be. And, Fuyumi, she looks like she's about to cry, but Deku, seeing this, something, hits him, in his heart. Like, he doesn't know why, but, seeing this person who he just met today crying, it's not what he wants. He instantly is trying to, like, comfort Fuyumi in what he just thought is how he always comforted people. But in reality, it's how Fuyumi would comfort him. And this is just like the nail in the coffin that, yes, you are Izuku Todoroki. Because, she's starting to cry. Her head is down. Because, she's starting to wipe away tears and she's doing the sniffles. When, Izuku just places his forehead on her head. And he's just like, happy thoughts. Happy thoughts. I'm giving you happy thoughts. Fuyumi, her eyes widened because, this is what she would do with Deku when not Todoroki, but Endeavor would be a dick to him. Hit him or mistreat him because there's no sign of his quirk activating. But, her eyes, like, she looks up and she's just like, you really are Izuku. As he's just more confused. Like, can't be. I don't know who you are. Fuyumi just brings him in a hug and saying, you're an idiot because you were younger than 4. And I'm an idiot for thinking you'd remember someone who you probably don't even care for. Deku being embraced by, Fuyumi in this way, he feels, I guess you could say, a slight form of catharsis that he never knew he needed. Like, this embrace by someone who, knew Izuku. Who isn't, Blossom or Wade. He admits that this feels different. And this is not like when Deku and Wade would have their moments together. That felt like similar to like teacher-student / father-son. But, when him and, Blossom would have their moments together and they'd have those little glimpses of one another and their hearts would flutter. This is different to Izuku. This is a sense of comfort that, he never knew he needed until he got it, Like, this form of, this expression of love, I guess is the best way I can explain it. This familiar love, that's probably safer. It answered the longing that Deku used to have when he was a child, when he first went through, the Chem Z program. And that was just to be held by, his family members. He wanted his family to be there for him when he was going through all this horrible torture bullshit, and they were never there. So his memories just pretty much erased them, and he focused on just surviving each grueling torture that they put him through. But the aspects of what he would do still kind of stem from, his time that he had spent with them. His love for fucking soba noodles comes from Todoroki, like from his brother Shoto, without even realizing it. How he comforts people is how Fuyumi would do that, because she was the heart of the family. Natsu, I'm gonna just give something to Natsu for shits and giggles. Natsu's joking nature, like tricksterishness, it just went to Izuku with him too. And, Toya was, the most, like, I don't want to say edgelord. Fuck. I just had the name for it. Confidence. Toya's confidence with his strength. Yeah, oh, good. Oh, shit. I like the song. I'm gonna have to skip it though, because it's too sad for me. I'm back. I'm sorry. But no, Deku, he grabs his head now. Because, there's a slight sharp pain going through his, like, he breaks away the hug from Fuyumi. She's asking what's wrong. As, Deku, he's grabbing his head with both hands this time. Because, pain is coming into his memory. Now, this is something that I feel like is just so underutilized that it should work. Now, what I mean in this one is, Deku, he's not necessarily... fuck. I'm trying to figure out the best way I can put this into words without making it sound too overcomplicated. But as Deku, is remembering all the shit that he's, locked away behind his memories, his childhood, pretty much, the lost childhood of the Todoroki family, as he starts remembering everything. He remembers, Fuyumi, Shoto, Toya, Natsu, how Endeavor was the biggest piece of shit ever. He remembers everything. And this, it doesn't sit well with him, He asks Fuyumi, like, where's, Toya and their mom. She has to give him the news that, Toya died, their mom was put in the hospital, and, all this extra bullshit that 'twas not the right time to tell Izuku. Because, his rage starts boiling over more and more. Eventually, and I do mean eventually, you hear the door open, and it's the big asshole and then his prodigy child. As, they're both walking in. They see the shoes of someone else, so they're yelling at Fuyumi, like, who the hell does she have here? Which Deku did not waste the slightest second of hesitation. The moment he saw Endeavor, he rushed at him at a speed that Endeavor did not know was possible for a child to reach. And what exactly do you think Deku's gonna do? A kick? A punch? Kind of similar. Deku rushing in is just instantly, and I mean instantly, already throwing just the meanest and sickest of Deadpool combos. And if you've never seen Deadpool, like, fight with his unpredictable fighting style, think of it like a even more strange version of the Drunken Fist by, Lee. But with less kicking and more just randomness, with the anticipation of your opponent's move being damn near impossible. Now, these hits, even though Endeavor has his guard up, they're doing such significant damage that, he starts to feel like if his bones are starting to, fracture with each hit. Little by little, this person is just dealing so much, like, heftiness that it's hurting him. Fuyumi screaming for him to stop, like, that's, like, Enji Todoroki, their father, which, Shoto, his eyes widening, because, at first he was just like, huh, green-haired boy looks like that one kid who doesn't live here no more. But, with, Fuyumi yelling, that's their father, even Enji Todoroki realizes that who this person is right here in front of him was the child that, he threw away. And the ungodly amount of physical force behind his punches that don't match his body's frame. Endeavor, you know, he just yells, "Prominence! Burn!" As he's saying, fuck this. This is still his son. And if his son thinks he can just do this to his father, he's got another thing coming to him. So, fire. But the very instance it was near Izuku, Endeavor just coughs up blood. As he falls to his knees. His flames instantly just retract, damn near dying down. As he's starting to think, what the fuck happened? Why is his flames, hurting him? He's coughing up more and more. He's starting to spit out blood. Fuyumi and Todoroki are, scared right now. They're confused on what's going on. Todoroki, he has his hand out ready to blast Izuku with ice. And Izuku's just looking at him like, yeah, that's not gonna work. And, he then activates the other aspect of, lethal dose. So despite Todoroki expelling just the slightest amount of frost off of his body, his left hand just rips up with blood. As, he coughs up blood. And from his right side, from his ear, nose, and eye, blood is starting to form. For Enji Todoroki, it's all over. Eyes, nose, mouth, ears. He's just puking and spitting up blood. And, they're kind of confused on what's going on. Fuyumi eventually just hugs Izuku and saying, please stop. No, don't do this. Don't do this. This isn't what she wants. She has some of her family back. She has her younger brother back. Don't do this. Don't tarnish the image that she has of her younger brother anymore. Even if, this isn't her younger brother anymore. Just not this. Not here. Not in front of her. She knows that, Endeavor deserves this and probably a lot worse, but Shoto not really did anything in this, and, she's never, and I mean never seen anyone been able to bring her father down like this. Endeavor, he's trying to rise up, and, before he could even muster up his strength to shoot out his quirk of fire, he coughs up more blood, and, falls down to, damn near face planting. He just barely catches himself with one hand. As, he's struggling, and he's looking at Izuku, and Izuku's just scowling at him. Deku then tells him, your fire, or, then he points to Todoroki, or his ice, your guys' shit, if, it's against me, then it's just pretty much ingesting a gallon of just poison and then trying to fight him, which, they're all kind of confused, and I mean all, even Fuyumi's confused. She asks, what is he talking about? Deku, so just to kind of end the day with, he says that his quirk is called lethal dose. Anything he's already consumed at one point in his life, he can then change the lethality that it would take for a human being. And it could be either within their body, on their body, or just around them. This is what I mean when I say the lethal dose of this is how he controls it. He can't straight out just, kill someone with just saying, oh, blood is lethal to everyone. It'd have to be their specific blood type that he would have to consume. And depending on what it is the reaction that could happen within the human body. Anything elemental or energy-based just kind of reflects back on the body, destroying it at a cellular level. If it's their blood or toxins or poisons, then it's pretty much as if they were falling victim to a, slow-working, death. And that's how it goes. Izuku's just walking out towards the door when, out of nowhere, and I mean out of nowhere, there's this pink-haired, thing that just tackled Izuku down through half the floor. As, she's yelling, darling! Darling! I thought, where were you? You know, hugging him, squeezing him. And I do mean, like, she's in her red form right now. So she's in She-Devil form, as she's, you know, crushing Izuku's bones. They hear the, like, his bones cracking and breaking. As, you know, Izuku's just like, Blossom, I need air. You know, she then, like, lets him go and then reverts back to her human-esque looking form. Which, you know, then she's looking around. She just asks, she looks at him and says, darling, where are we? You know, Deku's just like, he just looks over at his family with a scowl. You know, she matches his gaze, then looks back. No, not matches his gaze. She sees where he's looking at, and then looks back to him. And she's looking around the photos. And, you know, she could see a baby version of, you know, Deku just as a portrait towards a shrine where, you know, Toya is. And, you know, she sees it. She instantly runs towards it. She grabs the photo, and she's saying, darling, look, it's you as a baby. It is baby darling. You know, then she starts rubbing her face on the photo, and she's just like, you're so cute. Deku, he kind of blushes at this, and he's just like, Blossom, this really isn't the time or place for this. You know, she then looks again as, you know, Shoto in this one, to make it easier, because there are fucking 4 of them in this room. Shoto's just looking at her, and, you know, his eyes are just like, she is a goddess. A legit angel. The most incredible specimen he's ever seen. As, you know, Blossom. You know, she then just walks with a picture of Izuku in her arms, and she just goes to Izuku. You know, she's just like, are you okay, darling? Did they hurt you, darling? You know, Izuku's just like, I'm fine. Why did you come here? Like, how? You know, she's just like, oh, silly darling. I will always know where you are. You know, she then says, there's nothing Deku could do to, you know, escape from her. You know, they're meant to be together. Which, Deku, he takes this moment as in, like, he wants her to clarify this. Like, wait, what do you mean? You know, she blushes and she pouts. And, you know, she says, darling, you're so mean, making me have to say it. You know, she then just goes to Izuku, plants a kiss on him, and this is their first kiss for both of them. Because, you know, she pulls away and she's just saying, darling, I love you. And, you know, Deku, he's just like, this is, you know, this day is just on some bullshit. Like, how the fuck is he supposed to feel right now? He just got his, like, memories back of, you know, before he even met her, and he doesn't know how to feel. Like, a lot of information has just been given to him, and, you know, he just doesn't know what to do. He gets up, and, you know, Fuyumi is looking at Deku, and she's just like, Izuku, don't go, please. Just talk to me, please. You know, Endeavor's just, like, slowly rising. As, you know, he's not using his fire, and Todoroki's not using his ice, so they're not being affected as badly, but, you know, until Deku is gone, they're still going to be afflicted by the poison, and there is no cure for this. This is another fun thing about Deku's poison. And, you know, Shoto just asks Izuku, you know, is he going to go to UA? Which, before he can even say, Blossom wraps her arms around Izuku, and she's saying, we'll be going to UA. Izuku just chuckles and smiles, you know, because he doesn't have to talk to the people he hates as long as, you know, she's here. Which, that's pretty much her role, is she just looks at the Todorokis, and she's saying that Izuku is her darling, and they're going to get married, they're going to have babies, and the Todorokis are not, you know, invited to the wedding or to the baby showers or any of that. Which, they're confused, and Fuyumi looks hurt because she sees her baby brother for the longest time, like years. He has a girlfriend, apparently, and now she can't even be invited to their wedding, and, this is just too much. But, Deku, he grabs onto her arms that are wrapped around his, like, shoulders and neck, as he's saying, no, no, not all of them. Just those two. You know, he points to Todoroki and... Damn it, they're all Todorokis. He points to Shoto and Endeavor, and he's just saying, if anything, it's just those two who we don't associate with. They're standing and they're scowling at Izuku, like, because he kind of just bodied both of them and they don't want to admit it. But, yes, Deku does, say to Fuyumi that this is Blossom, and Blossom, this is his older sister Fuyumi. And, before the two can have an actual moment to, like, celebrate, Endeavor's already saying he wants them out of their house, out of his house. Izuku's not a Todoroki. He had no right being here. And, before Fuyumi can even interject, Deku has already, walked towards the door with, 02 in hand. And she's looking back at, Fuyumi, and she's just waving. And before Fuyumi can, like, wave back, Endeavor sticks out his hand and saying, like, the Todorokis do not associate themselves with such, low class. Which, this stops Deku. Because, 02, she got offended by this. Low class? Motherfucker. Who do you think he was talking to? This is one of the greatest waifus. Anyway, nah. Deku, he's looking right at, the bastard that is his father. And, Deku's just giving him the most absolute maximum, and I mean maximum killing intent stare. Just like the bloodlust radiating from Izuku was just enough to make Endeavor fall back. Similar to how, it was with Stain, but here's the key difference. Endeavor knows that Izuku can kill him. He made Endeavor's quirk be poison to Endeavor. That is some really, like, I'm a fuck with your mind type bullshit. Oh, your special ability made you, like, think you're the top shit? Boom. I made it where it's poisonous to you. Fuck you. And, that's what he has to realize, that that's what Izuku can now do. Deku's quirk is lethal dose? It never starts researching into, who could have done this, who's Blossom, and all this other noise. And he found absolutely nothing. And yeah, he looked into the orphanage that shit happened, and nothing. They have no records of Izuku, and they're saying they don't even remember Endeavor being there, which Endeavor's calling bullshit. Like, why I was here, because they're like, nah, they would have had records. There is no record of an Izuku Todoroki anywhere. So we don't know what to tell you. Because, they have to cover their asses. So once a child goes missing, so they just erase their, information from their systems to make it easier for them. So, yeah. Deku, he's pretty much at home with, 02. As he's looking at her, and he's just asking her, why did you do that? Why'd she show up? He was just about to leave anyway. She's kind of annoyed by this. She's just like, I was worried about you, darling. Am I not allowed? Deku, he was thrown back by this because he didn't think she'd snap at him back, but he just takes a deep breath and he's just saying, look, I'm not trying to be mean or mad at you. I really don't. He takes both of her heads and he's just staring at her eyes, and as he says, you make me happy. But I can't think of a way to better explain it than that. Just saying you make me happy is an understatement. It's a too simple way to try and rationalize everything I feel. You know, she's smiling at this because, the two are starting to get closer and closer to one another. As, faces are inching closer to closer. Inch by inch, the two are just, like, nose touching at this point. As, they're looking at each other's eyes, as Izuku just says,